All right.
Wait, can
What's up?
someone click on slide 5? I want to
Yeah.
make sure I'm doing the right slide because I felt like me and another person were doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Uh, That one's mine. I'm on Purpose Matter. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah. No problem. All right. I am ready whenever y'all are.
Ready?
All
Very.
right. All right. Let's do it. Today, our group will discuss inspiring leadership using the ideas from the talk with Start with Why by Simon Sinek. Sinek explains that great leaders inspire people by focusing on their purpose or their why people follow them, or why people are naturally drawn to them as leaders. Instead of starting with what they do, inspiring leaders begin by explaining why they do it, why they gather people together, or why they attempt to tame others to bring them together for something greater or bigger than themselves. The idea is that people are motivated when they understand the purpose behind a goal or an action that they do. They feel motivated to have a purpose, as it is simply human nature to feel this. When leaders communicate a clear vision, followers feel connected to that mission. They feel connected to the team, and most importantly, they feel connected to the leader, as they feel they're doing something greater than themselves. Teams are not only found in schools, but sports teams, construction sites, families, and people who just simply come together. This concept helps explain why some leaders and organizations are able to inspire loyalty, teamwork, and long term commitment from others as leaders and as teams.
Yeah, so in this video, leadership expert Simon Sinek explains that leaders can influence people in two main ways, through manipulation or through inspiration. Manipulation includes strategies such as promotions, discounts, fear, pressure, or reward to convince people to act. These techniques can be effective in short term because they give people a reason to make quick decisions. However, Sinek explains that manipulation usually does not create a long term loyalty or trust. People might respond in the moment, but they often don't feel deeply connected to the leader or the organization. In contrast, inspiring leaders motivate people in a much more meaningful way. Instead of focusing on what they do or what they do to sell it, they communicate the purpose behind their actions. They clarify and they clearly explain their beliefs and why their work matters to them. This explains and helps people understand the bigger picture and makes them feel like they are a part of something important. Sinek describes that this idea with one of his most famous statements: people don't buy what you do, they buy with why you do it. In order words, people are more likely to support leaders and organizations when they believe in the purpose behind their work. When leaders clearly communicate their why, they naturally attract people who share the same values and belief as those people who become more engaged, motivated, and committed because they feel connected to the mission. This can lead to stronger teamwork, more trust, and a greater long term overall success. Overall, the main message of this video is that the great leaders inspire people by starting with what their purpose is, by communicating why they do it and what they do with it. Create stronger relationships and motivate others to believe in the same vision.
Simon Sinek talks about something called the Golden Circle, which is basically a way to explain how great leaders communicate and inspire people. It has three main parts: why, how, and what. The most important part is the center, the why, because that represents a leader's purpose, or what they truly believe in. It's the reason behind everything they do, not just the surface level explanation. The next part is how, which explains how they actually bring that purpose to life. This includes their values, the way they make decisions, and the methods they use to stay true to what they believe in. It's basically what makes them different from others. The outer layer is what, which is what they actually do. This could be the products they sell, the services they provide, or the actions they take on a daily basis. This is usually the most obvious part, and it's what most people see first. Most organizations usually communicate from the outside in, meaning they start by talking about what they do, then how they do it, and sometimes they mention why. But inspiring leaders do the opposite. They start with why because that's what connects with people on a deeper level. It makes others feel something and gives them a reason to care, which is why it's so powerful.
Right. On this side, we'll be discussing why purpose matter. Purpose matters because it creates a strong emotional connection between leaders and the people they lead. In Simon Sneak's video, he explains that inspiring leaders start with why. That means they're focused on their purpose, their beliefs, and the reason behind what they do before they actually focus on the action or the results. People may understand what a leader does, but they usually inspired by what ah, people may understand what a leader does, but they're usually inspired by why they do it. Purpose also builds motivation and loyalty when people understand the deeper reason behind a goal. They are more likely to stay committed and give their best effort. They do not feel like they are just completing random tasks. Instead, they feel like their work matters and that they're a part of something meaningful. This can make a group stronger, more focused, and more united. Another reason purpose matter is because it creates a shared vision. When a leader clearly explains why everyone in the group can work towards the same goal with a better sense of direction, this improves teamwork, trust and communication. In a class project, for example, people are usually more engaged when they feel like they are building something more valuable together instead of just trying to finish an assignment. That's why purpose is so important in leadership. It inspires people, keeps them motivated, and help them turn a group into a real team.
In the video, Simsnek gives several examples of leaders who inspire others by focusing on their purpose, or what he calls their whys. Instead of just telling people what they do, these leaders explains what they believe in and what motivates others to follow them. One of the main examples he talked about is Apple. Apple doesn't just market their product by listing their features like storage or speed. Instead, they focus on their belief in challenging the status quo and thinking differently. Their message is more about innovation and creativity than just selling computers or phones. Because of this, people don't just buy Apple products, they connect with the brand and what it stands for. It makes customers feel like they are part of something bigger. Another good example is Martin Luther King Jr. during the Civil Rights Movement. He doesn't just tell people that what's needed to be changed. He shared a vision of equality and justice. His famous "I Have a Dream" speech inspired thousands of people to come together and fight for the civil rights. People followed him not because they were told to, but because they believed in the same purpose he did. These examples shows that inspired leaders don't just give out instruction and focus on result. Instead, they bring people together by sharing a strong belief or vision. When people connect with that version, they are more motivated, more loyal, and more willing to take action. Overall, Simons's message is that great leaders start with why and what truly inspires others to follow them.
The idea of start with why was popularized by Simon Sinek, and it's about understanding the purpose behind what we do. In his well-known talk, he explains that great leaders inspire others by clearly defining why their work matters before focusing on what they do or how they do it. The concept of start with why is not just a theory. It can be used in everyday settings like workplaces, schools, and group projects. It means understanding and communicating the purpose behind what we do. The first step is to define your purpose. Before starting any project, it's important to ask, why does this matter? What is the goal behind it? When leaders are trying to um, clear, give a clear decision about their purpose, it gives direction and meaning to the work. The next is, and it's important to communicate your vision. Leaders don't just keep their purpose to themselves; they share it with the others. A good leader doesn't just um, hand out assignments and then expect everyone to do it by themselves. When everyone understands the why, they feel more connected to the task and more motivated to contribute and give their best efforts. This naturally inspires teamwork. The leaders who explain the purpose of the project can keep team members engaged and working together more effectively. For example, instead of just um, trying to do everything by themselves, a leader might explain how the project impacts others or how it contributes to a bigger goal. This helps each person to see the value of their roles. When people understand why they work, why their work matters, they are more likely to stay focused, contribute more, and put in their best efforts. It turns simple tasks into meaningful contributions. In conclusion, inspiring leadership begins with connections, motivations, and guiding everyone to the same shared vision. By starting with why, we can turn ordinary groups into motivated, collaborative, and successful teams.
To wrap, to wrap this up, becoming an inspiring leader starts with self reflection. Ask yourself, why do I do what I do? What belief fuels my work? Understanding your own purpose is the first step in inspiring others. Next, lead by example. People are motivated not just by words, but they're inspired by a leader whose actions consistently align with their purpose. By demonstrating commitment to your values in your work, you build trust and encourage others to be driven by their own cause, their own purpose, and their own belief. Finally, create a culture where purpose is shared and celebrated. Encourage team members to connect with the bigger picture, to contribute their own ideas, and know that their work matters. When people feel that they matter, they don't just participate, they commit. When those people commit, they believe in their own pursuit of purpose, creating a chain reaction that inspires others to be a part of their cause. When leaders focus on why, they don't just manage, they inspire. An inspiring leader has the power to transform teams, organizations, and communities.